Mr. Joachim Schiødtz is a partner and co-founder of Cabana, Copenhagen-based digital agency created in 2002. Joachim has over 15 years field experience and holds certifications of Microsoft, Sitecore and Umbraco. He has since 2011 been named Sitecore MVP. Today, his main focus is guidance and information architecture. Among clients of Cabana are big conglomerates like Maersk, Toys R Us, and many other large organizations. Joachim, please welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Almar. So, today we are going to talk about customer experience and why customer experience is a key to customer retention. Whereas, why is it important to give a good customer experience to keep your customers loyal and to keep very good profitability on your customers? Perhaps, yeah. All right. So, Walker has made a report stating that by 2020, customer experience will actually overtake both price and product as the key brand differentiator for the customers. I think that is very, very true. I actually think that today it's even true. Like, you can imagine if you buy a product and there is absolutely no service or no experience attached to it, it'll be dead immediately. You have to have some kind of relation to the product to give it to add value to it. As a matter of fact, 86% of the customers say at this very moment that they are ready to pay more for a good customer experience than just have price or the product itself as a metric. So, to give a down-to-earth example of why customer experience matters, I've brought with me John. John has a clothing store in Copenhagen. It's a smaller store. Of course, he has some big brands in his store, but still he has very fierce competition from online stores, from department stores that are selling exactly the same goods that John is selling. So how can he differentiate himself in a market where others can offer the same products, obviously at a lower cost because they have a higher reach? Well, John has embraced what I'd call a customer-centric approach. This means that once you enter his store, he'll immediately start a conversation with you, trying to know more about you, trying to know your needs, of course your measurements, trying to know which kind of situations are you going to use the clothing. Is it for leisure? Is it for business? And once you have converted that conversation into a first purchase, he of course knows your purchase history. So he begins to have a 360-degree view of you as a person, and he can start a very interesting and relevant conversation on multiple channels. So, as soon as you have ended your first visit to John's store and you have actually made a purchase, or even if you haven't made a purchase, you may have given him some information that enables him to contact you again. So he'll use the information that you've given him, like the information that he has collected and aggregated, into a relevant conversation with you on multiple channels. So he'll start by using social media like Facebook. He'll start by using text messages if he got your phone number, like offering you new goods that is in his store that he knows is relevant to you. He's driving the conversation based on what he knows about you and what what you've given him of information from time to time. Of course, that means that he gets extremely loyal customers, and that he can nurture like reviews from social platforms, so that people are actually advertising his good customer service as a key brand differentiator, instead of just buying the same goods in a large department store. So again, it's all about customer experience. It's all about giving more than the product. It's about brewing a cup of coffee so that you feel welcome, so that you have a very close relationship, and that you keep loyal to John as a partner. John is a one-man army. He is both the CMO, the CEO, the CTO, the CIO. He is everything. He's doing the marketing, as well as he's doing the sales, the support if your clothes is broken. He's doing everything. So he has very easy way of like having an integrated definition of the omnichannel experience, because he doesn't have to negotiate with other departments to agree on how the messaging should be. He is only himself. Of course, John has a little bit hard on scaling out to many customers, because he's one man. He just can't take in 100,000 customers, because it'll be too hard for him to control. So his case is very good, but it's also very small. On the entire other end of the scale, we have Apple. Apple, what I call like the champions of omnichannel communication. Apple does exactly the same as John does. They're just doing it at a little bit larger scale, being the world most valuable company measured by stock price. A few numbers. Last quarter of 2014, Apple realized a revenue of almost $75 billion. They gained a profit of more than $18 billion, and they had 800 million active Apple IDs or iTunes accounts. So this is definitely at another scale. And Apple having their own ecosystem, offering both software, hardware, entertainment, and a lot of services around it, needs to be extremely consistent in their messaging to keep their customer loyal. I think that I'm not the only one that thinks that Apple's products may be a little overpriced, but we are still buying because it's convenient, it gives a very good experience, it's completely integrated. Even if you buy your iPad and your iPhone and your iMac, everything integrates. And how does that integrate? Well, Apple has made an ingenious invention. I don't say that others don't have it. I just say that I think that these guys has done it completely right. They've made an Apple ID that connects everything in their organization. So as they stated themselves, an Apple ID is everything you do with Apple. The Apple ID is your conversation with John. It's by delivering your information about your purchases, about your gadgets, about everything that you do and what you interact with Apple, that they know how to make a very consistent and very relevant conversation with you on all channels. So no matter if you are asking the support, or if you are buying a new CD or like a new album from iTunes, it's based on what you've done before, so it's relevant and it's something that is at least supposed to be as close to your needs as possible. Apple are the champions in doing this. And that's why they have a lot of loyal customers that keeps buying products from them, even though that they may lack functionality or may be higher priced, because it's convenient and they keep the customers loyal. That shows to me how good how good loyalty is at customers, and how far you can actually drive it, being the world's most valuable company and realizing profits by the quarter of $18 billion. So, this is of course just marketing. Behind it, there are a few systems that are enabling companies to do all this. And what are the platform requirements to do a true omni-channel or a true cross-channel conversation with your customers? Well, first of all, you have to measure. You have to collect information about your customers. You have to gain as much knowledge as possible and aggregate that into hopefully a 360-degree picture of who your customers are and how they act and how they approach you as a company. Then you have to manage that data. You have to use it in your CRM system. You have to use it for split testing on your website. You have to know everything about the purchase history so that you can trim your stock about which product is relevant to your customers at which given time. Is it Christmas? Is it summer? Is it spring? So, and then you have to engage. You have to use this data to deliver a lot of relevant communication on all channels. There'll be social media, emails, text, just as we saw with John, but probably in a more automated way. So, there is not one system to do all this yet. There's, a matter of fact, a lot of systems. This is the marketing landscape last year. This shows all the different systems that are actually in the market last year to help you gain, collect, understand, report, and engage with your users. Obviously, this is a lot, but the number of systems are growing. Last year, it was close to 1,000. Just 1 year later, showing the importance of these systems in the market, the number has grown to almost the double. So, and the company making these landscapes says it's like counting the stars. As soon as you start, you never finish, because they'll just pop up new products on the sky while you're counting. So, obviously, this presents some huge challenges to the companies, because if you have 2,000 systems to choose from, which one is better for you, and well, will you actually be able to choose between the system, or are you choosing wrong, or how is it? As a matter of fact, most companies has at least 36 systems trying to help creating a relevant conversation online at the moment. So 36 different data gathering systems, reporting systems, and systems for getting the message out. That's a whole lot. And obviously, it's because you have your marketing department, you have your advertising, you have your IT department choosing each of them their own system. Actually perhaps not having a clear strategy on what to use the information for. It's not, there's not a strategic decision to integrate and use this information in a consistent way. So the IT department will surely choose systems that are easily to maintain and operate. The marketing department will probably choose some systems that integrate to their marketing, like their marketing bureaus. And and the social media guys will connect to some bureau that is actually helping them make their Facebook or Twitter page or LinkedIn. So the messaging can be quite fragmented by having a lot of systems helping the company, but really not helping the customers, because the messaging will be fragmented. It'll be hard to understand why this part of the company is communicating in this way and why the other part of the company is communicating in this way. Another dangerous thing is that you'll probably, if you want to have a consistent messaging between all of these systems, you'll spend almost all your time trying to integrate the systems instead of using them. So you'll spend up more than 80 to 90% research show on trying to integrate your information structures so that they actually is aligned across the company. That leaves very little to actually use it in an efficient way. So what we perhaps didn't see in this one is a very interesting change from 2014 to 2015. Let me just get here. There's actually been introduced a platform or a suite of backbone systems that is based on acquisitions and mergers from this sky of fragmented systems. So a little group of companies has actually seen the light and decided, okay, we see a need throughout the industries that it'll be necessary to have a very consistent integrated platform underneath the entire organization to manage information and to make a clear 360 view of your customers across all your actions, across all your touch points with the customers. So companies like Oracle, like Adobe, like Sitecore, and like IBM, each of them has made their own go at what's an attractive experience platform or marketing platform. And obviously some of them are doing better than others. What we see here is Gartner's Magic Quadrant on web content management systems that tries to measure the completeness of vision in those companies, as well as their ability to execute in the market. Like, how good are their organization at supporting big industries or big companies in completing their vision of a true omnichannel approach. And then, of course, again, we see Oracle, IBM, Sitecore, Adobe. All of those have invested massively over the last couple of years in creating true customer experience, customer-centric systems that collects, aggregates, reports, and acts on the systems, so that you'll have a tightly integrated system across your organization that can help each department do their job without the need of a lot of integration between the departments. Obviously, this is no single department just take a decision to buy in on a platform suite, a backbone suite. Because if they do, again, they'll still be isolated in their own department. They cannot decide to choose for the marketing department if it's IT or if it's social media. They can't decide like what other departments should do. So that's why it's extremely important that the C-level of the organization has have a prioritized strategy around customer experience. It needs to be all the way up through to the CEO and agreed upon by the CMO, the CEO, the CTO, that this omnichannel strategy is important to the company. First, then can a system like a suite, a backbone suite, help the customers, because without a strategy about consistent messaging across all channels, will you be able to deliver that customer experience that makes customers experience your brand as a brand, not as a lot of different targets in your own company. So that's why at the moment we're actually seeing another person in this landscape. We are seeing what's called a chief omnichannel officer that is put in between the CEO and the underlying departments. The only task at the moment for the omnichannel officer is actually to oversee tight integration between the departments, making sure that there is a tightly integrated strategy between the departments, that every department is pulling in the same direction, making the customers experience your brand as a brand. So that we will see a lot more in the future, and I'm pretty sure that in the end it'll turn your customers away from clickbait to engagement, and that clickbait to engagement will end up in a very profitable solution for your customers or the companies. So I talked to Almar, and he said, please try and cut it a little short to make room for some questions. So thank you for listening, and question time.
Okay, thank you, Joachim, for your good insights in your presentation to Iceland. This is the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Any question, Iceland? There's a question, great. Very good. So question on customer experience, where does it start and where does it end? How do we define it?
Yeah, true. So I think it's a very good question, and I think it's a very hard one to answer, because customer experience is pretty much everything you interact with your customers about. So as we saw with John, customer experience in a small scale organization can be to brew a cup of coffee so you feel welcome, so you'll be loyal, so you'll return to the store because it's a nice atmosphere. In Apple, it's that once you connect your iPad and your iMac, that you have the same cross-channel experience. So customer experience is a lot of different things, and that's also why I think Walker, in their report saying that it's important in 2020, is definitely a little conservative. I mean that it's always been like that, even in the offline time. Of course you would go to the companies and the stores that you had a good relationship to, that you got a good customer experience from, whether that's just a nice smile, high level of service, but seeing it like the customer experience that we are seeing in the omnichannel world is, of course, to have across all channels have the same experience, so you don't experience a less degree of understanding of who you are as a individual in the support department as to when you are going to purchase the product. So customer experience is a lot of things, and I don't see a start and an end. I see a journey.
Okay, thank you, Joachim. Any more questions? We probably have space for at least one more.
There's one over.
There's one over here on the left.
Hi, thank you for a good lecture. I have a question about this automation. People are feeling that they're talking to a machine. You know, we've got online worlds, we're shopping online, and the computer says no. how do we ensure that like you said, the customer experience is personal and not the one of a machine? How do you think that will develop?
Yeah.
What do you think the future is?
Yeah. So obviously, customer experience across a lot of channels can feel automated. I think that it's important to collect as much knowledge about your users as possible, so that even if it's automated, it's still personal. So that you're using the right name, you know something about their age and stuff. That is for the automated part of it. Then looking at if you're running a website where you offer support, like a chat support, obviously the one that is engaging with you as a customer on that chat should have access to your 360 view of your history with the company, making that a personal conversation. So it shouldn't just be that, and that's what I mean with real integrated omnichannel approach, that all part of the organization should have access to the same information about you as a customer to make it personal. So that it's not only the automated systems that can send out an email or a text message or try to put something on your wall on Facebook, but it should also be the ones having this very one-to-one personal conversation with you. But it's a hard one. And the more you know about the customers and the more you have collected about their history and their purchases, the more personal the feeling of your communication, even if it's automated, is possible to make. Thank you.